The Detroit Lions hosting the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday. Much like, well, Founders Brewing hosting me here now. Let's Talk Lions. Woo! Welcome back to an all-new episode here at Let's Talk Lions. My name is Jay. I am hanging out, as I said earlier, at the Golden Hall in Edoras, in the Kingdom of Rohan, which it seemed like, So, long and the short of it is, as I'm chilling here, Founders has been incredible. Founders partnering with Let's Talk Lions throughout the season for every one of the post-game shows. And seeing that it was the bye week, we worked it out where I was able to come on out here and film. And I'm currently sitting in one of their private rooms, able to film this episode of Let's Talk Lions, the preview, and also the video with both the brewmaster and one of their HR members. It was a hilarious time. I had a great time. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's all about the NFC North and where we're kind of sitting right now, where the Lions are sitting. But this video is all about the Lions versus the Vikings this weekend. Lions coming in at 5-2, sitting at second in the NFC North. Meanwhile, you got the Vikes coming in at 3-4, sitting in fourth place in the NFC North, which I had absolutely no idea that would be the way things would start shaking out this season. In fact, I thought the Lions will win the division, followed by Minnesota in the second slot. However, I will say Carson Wentz is dog, and JJ McCarthy is, just a little boy trying to figure out his own way amongst the people of Minnesota, and it's not going well. One great quarter and 7 god-awful ones. But coming into this game, obviously both teams on extra rest. Lions have their bye week last week. They get that extra rest after Tampa Bay. A huge win, now at 5-2. And then you've got the Vikings coming in. They played Thursday night football against the Chargers, where they looked like a Pee Wee Herman football team. It was terrible. But here we are. Here we are. They get that little extra rest. And quite frankly, I think one of the most wild things is to look at Minnesota and say, man, they had a quarterback in Sam Darnold. They had a guy that they could have used again. They could have franchise tagged him. They did not. And now you've got the Minnesota Vikings without Carson Wentz for the rest of the season, with JJ McCarthy, who has played 2 total games in the NFL. I think he's sat out 23 out of 25 due to the meniscus tear, and now whatever this has been, the high ankle sprain this season. Their quarterback woes are brutal because you look down the road and over the hill past the little buoys and you see Seattle, and Sam Darnold's leading them on a 5-2 campaign, leading the division. Like, you gotta wonder, man, Minnesota, did you mess it up? Did you screw this one up? Sam Darnold, if you could have franchise tagged him, he could be QB1 right now. A team that went 14-3 last year, now sitting at 3-4. And quite frankly, it ain't looking up. In fact, I was looking on ESPN earlier this morning. Kevin Seifert, either way, it's not a great last name, wrote an article, and he said McCarthy's first 2 starts of 2025 left him with the NFL's second worst QBR at 20.3. In the season opener, he led the furious comeback, 27-24 victory over a bad, I'm putting that word in there, parentheses, bad Chicago Bears team, accounting for 3 TDs in the fourth quarter. But in the other 7 quarters, he completed 55% of his passes for a total of 214 yards while committing 4 turnovers and taking 9 sacks. I mean, if you ask me, I know that there's all this rumor like, oh, maybe it's just a soft benching. It really feels like it. Now, I know Minnesota's like, hey, like we want him to be able to plant on that back foot, be able to toss the ball. He's got to be able to move because JJ has that. He's got mobility. But JJ has inexperience. Oh, but he's a winner. Yeah, okay, great. He was a winner in college and in high school, and that's big and that's great. But at what point, when Hutchinson with the $180 million, $45 million a year deal, what happens when that man comes barreling down at you? We will see, and it doesn't look good for Minnesota. The odds right now, the spread, Lions by 8.5. Over and under, 47.5, and the money line Vikes at plus 375, and the Lions at minus 500. Now, there's some good news coming into this week. You look at some of the injuries and the guys who are coming back. First and foremost, 3 players expected to return this week. Terrion Arnold, Rodrigo, which the target date would be him beginning Week 11 versus Philly. That's huge. And safety Daniel Thomas. He broke his forearm back in Week 3 against Baltimore. So to be able to get him back, he was a great special teams gunner, and he was great on punt return coverage as well. Then you've got Davenport. It's a name I don't want to say because I just don't believe in him, unfortunately. I don't believe in his health. He's got what it takes on the field, but the problem is keeping him on the field. And Davenport, supposedly, according to Campbell, quote, said, Davenport is improving. We will get him back this year. Then you've got Vaki, right? Vaki practiced and is practicing and is looking good, according to Campbell, which I love. Taylor Decker to practice Thursday. This is shot on Wednesday, so we will see where that's at as this video comes out. But Taylor Decker is expected to come back. Brian Branch, obviously coming off the suspension, and then Kirby Joseph, still waiting to hear about him. And as much as the Legion of Whom did work against Baker Mayfield and a half-broken Mike Evans and Ogubikwe, I just don't, at what point does the Legion of Whom stand up to the test week after week after week? We got to get these injuries solved. That is a huge thing in Detroit, making sure that secondary is healthy. When does Avonte Maddox come back? When do we get, and Avonte Maddox backing up, right? So when do we get these guys back? How do those injuries sustain the Lions? All in all, yeah, I know that Amik Robertson played a heck of a game in that season finale against Justin Jefferson and the Vikings last year. But at the same time, Sam Darnold played I don't even know the proper word. It was as bad as it gets. Sam Darnold, literally, the Detroit Lions cost the man $50 million that day. He could have been signed anywhere for any amount of money or, many other places for much more money. But Sam Darnold played poorly, overthrew Justin Jefferson a few times. Justin Jefferson had that one drop. So you look at that game. I'm not taking anything away from Amik. Hear me. I am not taking anything away from him. But we also have to pay respective due to, Sam Darnold's poor performance, to Justin Jefferson missing or dropping the ball in the end zone. There is a lot that goes into it. And I don't think we can rely on the Legion of Whom forever. I love the next man up mentality. It's awesome. But I don't want to rely on it. So those are just some thoughts coming in. And you got to understand the Vikes struggle against the run. Bottom 10 in the NFL when it comes to standing up against the run. Meanwhile, Gibbs and Monty for the Lions, obviously 2 studs. Gibbs has that game, 218 yards from scrimmage against Tampa Bay. 78-yard run. Isn't touched by anybody the whole way down the field. Like Gibbs and Monty, the double head Hydra. I know Hydra's I think it's got 3 heads, but so calm down. Okay. But those 2 running backs doing work. And if the Vikes can't stop the run, they're in the bottom 10 in the NFL. You're looking at what could be a mess for the Vikings. I know Brian Flores is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. I think he's a phenomenal. He mixes things up, the way he covers the blitz, all of it. But can they stand up to what is the double-headed monster in Gibbs and Monty and the rest of the Lions' offensive weapons? Hopefully Taylor Decker is back at left tackle. Sewell at the right. Both Mahogany and Ratledge at this point. Coach said it. Coach was like, you're vets now. You're halfway through the season. It's after the bye. You're not rookies anymore. Be the vets that you are. And then Glasgow holding down the fort. The Lions' offense is ranked number 2 in the NFL for points per game at 31.8, and the Vikings are 9th at 25.4 through 8 weeks. However, over the last 4 weeks, total points per game, Lions are at 28, and the Vikings at 18.5. In the last 4 games, they put up 21, 22, and 10. So they're landing at that rough 18 points per game over the last 4 weeks. Now, I'm no statistician. I'm not a dietitian. I'm no ishin of any sort. But in that, when I'm looking at those numbers and what the Lions defense was able to do against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs with the extra rest, with getting Brian Branch back, with everything coming off of this, coming off the bye, the time to prepare for Minnesota. This is a game where I don't see the Vikings putting up more than 17 points. I just don't. JJ McCarthy, who? 17-21 max. I think if the Lions put up over 21, it's a victory. Here at Ford Field, all in all, super excited for this game. Super excited to see what the Lions do against the Vikings and really how the offense takes on Brian Flores' defense. JJ McCarthy, we'll see. Does he play 4 more quarters of bad ball? 2 quarters? I don't know. But if I'm a Minnesota fan, I'm looking out in Seattle, wishing, hoping, dreaming like any Disney princess ever has. I wish I didn't go there. I wish that's not how I ended this video. So with that being said, the only way to end it is imagine Gimli after the Battle of Helm's Deep, looking around, drinking a game against Legolas. Yeah, remember that? And then in Legolas, he's like, oh, I feel a slight tingle in my finger. It's a great scene. I think it's the extended version only. That's where you have Merry and Pippin dancing on the table. The only brew for the brave and true. Hit that bottom left corner blue one.
But the only brew for the brave and true comes from that green dragon.
That is it. Here in the Golden Hall. I don't know if that was in the Golden Hall. What is that place called? It's got a name. It's like Medelseld, I think is the name of the... What are you laughing at, bro? This is very important information that people are dying for.